Hey everyone, Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. I have a couple more photos today from Eastern State Penitentiary. We had done one a couple weeks ago, another creating photographs video, and so I have another one for you today. I actually have two photos that I'm going to talk about today for different reasons, and actually one kind of leads into the other. So we'll get right into it here. Both these photos were taken at 1/320th of a second at f2.8. ISO 1250. Why was I at 1250? I don't know. I don't know. Probably the light was going down, so I probably just dialed it up real quick just to make sure I had enough light. And anyway, that's where I was at. 70-200 2.8 lens on a D3S at 90 millimeter in the lens. By the way, a lot of times, yeah, people will say, yeah, why didn't you adjust your ISO lower to your ISO higher, so you bring your shutter down or whatever. On the D3S and a lot of the newest model cameras, anything below 1600 is totally acceptable. To me, even below 3200 is acceptable for a lot of things that I shoot without issue. So I don't really worry about those ISOs a lot. Obviously, if you have an older camera, then you need to worry about it. And by the way, there was no flash on either of these images. When we first walked in, I had started to take a look around, and this is the first thing that I wanted to talk about, is when you get there, you get to a new location, whether it's for a portrait shoot, whether it's for a commercial shoot, or whatever it may be. I like to walk in and really take a look around. Sometimes I'll take my camera bag in, sometimes I won't even take my camera bag, because usually I have a ton of equipment in my truck that I know that I'm going to need. Or maybe I have too much equipment and I'm kind of overstocked in my Suburban of equipment, knowing that I won't use it all, but just in case. So that's my norm, and that's what I'll do a lot is kind of have too much equipment with me, too much lighting equipment with me, kind of intentionally, just to be sure that I'm ready to go, that there's no issues, that I didn't forget anything, that I basically won't have any surprises come my way that I can't handle. So that kind of walking around, checking the place out, making sure that I kind of see what kind of light that I'm going to use, how much light am I going to need, do I need to use my big monolights, or can I get away with using my smaller SBs? Those are the things that I'm really looking at, trying to figure out what kind of images that I want to shoot, as well as talking to the client and figure out what they want. Obviously, that's super important. They're the ones that are paying, so if you are working or doing commercial work, that's obviously an important factor. So, or even if you're just shooting for a friend, you want to make sure that you're creating what they want you to create. So definitely be thinking about that. When you're working with lines in a photo such as this one, you really want to do your best to get them vertical or horizontal or straight within the frame. I think that's really important. It keeps keeps your eyes from getting distracted, in my opinion. So that you want those nice straight lines. Keeps your eyes on the model instead of trying to figure out what's wrong with this picture, what's going on, and your eyes are only looking at the model, and that's a good thing, especially in a portrait such as this one. So definitely consider that and paying attention to that. A lot of times when you have a shot like this, there's really only one kind of dead center spot. You might need to get higher or lower in order to get your lines nice and straight, and that just comes with practice and looking at the viewfinder, looking at those lines in the frame to get that right spot. So just pay attention to it and find that right spot. All right. I think this is awesome. I love the lines from this gate. I had found this earlier when I was casing the place, when I was looking around when we had first gotten there before we started shooting, and just really loved the spot. It was a cool pose. We were working with the pose. It was a group of 4 photographers, all of us working kind of together, shooting a lot of the same things. So that's why I kind of wanted to move into another photo to get something different that nobody else had. Doesn't mean that this isn't a great photo because everybody, just that I wanted something different, basically. Now, one thing I will mention about this photo before we go on to the next one is sometimes cropping is very necessary. And this particular image is a really cool crop. I love how it's tall and thin. I thought the things on the outside of the frame, the other stuff on the outside of the frame, were a little distracting. When she's real tall and thin, and has her arms up above her head, and that really elongates the image and it makes it work. And you want those repeating lines to kind of follow the image and follow the frame. She's following together with that in her pose, and so having the crop mimic that only makes the image stronger. Now, by the way, I do have a new Lightroom preset, which you can head over to the website cazillo.com/LR presets, and you can download not only the first preset from a couple weeks ago, as well as this one. This one has a little bit of a split tone to it, which is really cool, a little bit lower saturation. Not usually my thing, but I like it in this case, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. So you can have that preset for free, just sign up for the email newsletter. Anyway, as I was saying, there was a group of 4 photographers. We're all shooting the same thing, working together, posing and lighting, that kind of thing. And I wanted something different. So I wanted to try and get a tighter shot. It was the end of the day. We had to get out of there. You know, I think we had to leave by, I don't know, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I don't remember what time it was. It was basically, we had like 5 minutes left. And so I said, okay, let me get a little bit tighter shot, do something different. And so I walked over and said, hey, you know, hold on to the rail. Actually, I think she was already standing on the end of the gate and already holding on to it. So I just had her just look over her shoulder. And as you see, the light's really nice. It's what's called a short light pattern. And what that means is that when the light, which is actually the same angle as what's coming onto my face now, is from the camera left, okay, coming in this direction, you end up with a shadow on this side of the face, on this side of the body, and that's what you want. You want that shadow towards the camera to thin someone. If that's what you're looking to do, then you want to what's called short light them. And so she is short lit in a situation. She has that nice shadow on the right side of her face, which thins it. And by the way, that light is lighting this thing right here, which is called the mask of the face. This is the mask of your face, from your eyebrows, your eyes, your these things your cheeks, your nose, all the way down to your chin. That's the mask of the face right there, and that's where you want to concentrate probably 90% of your lighting, 90% of your focus. Basically, well, focus in reality on the camera is always focused on the face, but focus as far as the intent of the image is on that face and the position of the face, position of the head, the way the lighting is falling, it, all those things. You really need to pay attention to each and every one of those little pieces of that. One of the pieces of that mask of the face that you need to really pay attention to, especially when the face isn't straight on, is the eyes and the corners of the eyes. You don't want the face turned far enough and then have them looking back and straining too far. You also don't want to lose the eye right here. You want to make sure that you're still seeing kind of this part of the eye socket around here. You don't want to just have the eye just kind of hanging out unless you're really doing something weird or something different. But for classic portraiture, you never want to go beyond not being able to see the kind of the side of the head here where the eye socket is. You want to make sure that you can see that the whole time. It's not out of the frame. Personally, I like to have the heads pretty much straight on for the most part, but this particular photo, it just works. Just having the good position. She's got these great dark brown eyes that are just beautiful, and they just kind of suck you in with a beautiful face. The light's perfect. The great pose. Her hands are back there, but you kind of see what's going on. You see that they're there, but they're out of focus enough that they're not distracting. Same with the background. It's not distracting at all. It really sucks your eyes right into the face, which is exactly what you want. You want that your eyes, the viewer's eyes of the photograph, to be looking at that image and the person's face the whole time. So what did we learn today? We talked about the case in the place, checking it out. Then we talked about posing, finding different spots, cropping, creative cropping, keeping our lines straight, and then checking and trying to find that other image, that other something, that one more good photo that I didn't quite have that made, in this instance, made it a lot better. We talked about the mask of the face. We talked a little bit about lighting. You learned what short light is, and also how far to turn the head in a normal portraiture situation. So questions, comments, concerns, I'd love to hear them. comment here on YouTube. Don't forget to check out the website and sign up for the email newsletter so that you can get a copy of this Lightroom preset. Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting. See ya.